afternoon and welcome to the States. It is day 4 of the 51st and 13th Biennial Conference of the Methodist Church Ghana, holding here at the Wesley Methodist Cathedral, Edum, Kumasi, in the Ashanti region. There are discussions going on. There are reports being read. These, I know, you will be very much interested. The show is sponsored by Christian Service University, also located here in Kumasi. I'll take a quick break, and when I come back, I will introduce the topic. Stay with me.
The Christian Service University, a fully chartered private university in Ghana, is inviting applications for admission. Undergraduate programs include BSc Nursing and Midwifery, Computer Science, Information Technology, Bachelor of Business Administration, BA Communication Studies, Planning and Social Development, and Theology with Administration. Postgraduate programs include MSc in Accounting and Finance, Monitoring and Evaluation, Corporate Planning and Governance. We have MA MPhil Communication Studies, MA Christian Ministry with Management, Event Management, MPhil English and Mathematics Education. With quality, faculty and state-of-the-art facilities, we blend academic work with entrepreneurial mindset in all our programs. For more information, please call 0246 275375, 0240-154825 or 0244-596603, or visit our website www.csuc.edu.gh. CSU is located at Odeneho Kwadaso on the Kumasi Obuasi Road, 100 meters off Star Junction. Choose CSU today to secure the future of Africa.
And to make him better known. That's therefore, Adiachi bio. You call ye na so you could die. You radia domunti. You sorry. I'm afraid I call Musuku. You might force so call Omunyumaso. So soon da you. So one soon da you. Yeah, catch sorry, na shrink. Sorry, na shrink. You may dear no pabusu. You may dear beer. Ye de brain. Said ye bear. Ye beti me yini. Ewo na yenyi wo hunamu ne mpo etimi yenyini ewo adwene mu said ye beya yenyina betimi akyekere oman na ya kyekere asafo na afi kra yetimi akyekere busua
ye behwe ensem a ekosmo oman Ghana mu eni wiase afa na nyina
ye befa ensem efi ko Ankrah tamu eni abefo internet so
anape bia ye ensem a ema enidaso eni insatwaye ebebrel ye de onyankopon asem bebrel na ya hweso e de aboyembra afa kan ye hu anape bia na ye mfa enije nsem embrel
enenti afa kan ye hu
Anita Kwabo
eni Reverend Ajika Vincent Agdomene ewo Wesleyan TV so afa obetimi ahwe won WTV Ghana ewo Facebook so na afa Wesleyan TV Ghana ewo YouTube so sorry na sharing
wake up to a purposeful day.
Jumadi aboafo bi te se
Gamble Insurance, multi-credit savings and loans.
I'm a Methodist University Ghana and I saw yasin.
Back. Let us quickly do W briefs. On W briefs, what we do is to give you an executive summary of the topic for discussion for the day. This morning, at the devotion, dignitaries from Britain, the church in Britain, led by the past president of the British Conference, Sofupini Stephen Pogson, leading us in the devotion from Ephesians 3:17 to 19, made a profound statement. He says that we should, and I quote, we should be rooted in Christ and grounded in Methodism. Rooted in Christ and grounded in Methodism. So on the wings of being grounded in Methodism, our father John Wesley was a strong advocate for social evangelism, which emphasizes combining spiritual evangelism and social actions which addresses the needs of the poor and marginalized. 200 years on, the Methodist Church Ghana still operates to meet these needs. We operate through the general directorate that we have four. I want to believe you know now. We have the general directorate for ministries, finance and development. We have for social services and youth education and youth development. This four. In our dioceses and our circuits and coming down to the societies, we call them the coordinating offices. But these are the wings by which the church operates. At this conference, reports have been rendered and moved. This afternoon, we are looking at social services. As John Wesley preached strongly and practiced, is the church gathering and providing the social interventions that are needed. What I'm just saying basically is that, are we involved in social evangelism, social action to address the needs of society? I'll take a quick break. When I come, you meet my guests. Don't go anywhere.
It's their 51st annual 13th Biennial Conference 2024.
When the Methodist fraternity gathers in the Garden City with over 500 delegates from the connection.
Over 21 directorate reports scheduled from 27th August to 1st September 2024.
We will bring up to speed with all conference proceedings on WTV and all our social media platforms at the Methodist Church Ghana.
This advert is powered by the Communications and Publications Directorate.
Praise God, praise God. Christ in tea, you respond, yeah, this year. I'm excited to announce to you, friends in the Lord, are you seeking for a platform where you can pray? Open baby up a soul bomb pie. Now ninyami edi inkita home. Bibi chiro so. And I'm maybe not the same kum. And you come home. Let's go into the prayer room on WTV every Friday 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. to meet seasoned ministers of God that God has raised to impact your life. Remember, John Wesley said, I have too much to do, therefore I spend several hours in prayer in able to do it. We try and say, that is why we are calling upon you. Meet myself, Reverend Hosea say, and the Evangelism Mission Renewal Directorate as we lead you into the prayer room where we encounter Christ. And I believe your life will never be the same. Call your friends, your loved ones, every Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., where we will encounter Christ. God bless you. See you on our screens on WTV every Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. God bless you.
Remain at the next meeting. Let us have this in our minds. When you retire, either voluntarily or by compulsory or mandatory retirement, you don't remain at the next meeting. Most grateful.
Most grateful too. Please.
As the representative session of conference, where reports are being read and discussions taking place, questions are being sought for certain actions and interventions that were carried out for the period under review. So you can see how the representative session goes. It is the meeting of both clergy and laity. So these directorates, represented by the general directors, come to present their report. The report, which has been considered by the GPC, General Purposes Council, but has to be brought to conference for approval. So that just to show you what is happening here at the Wesley Methodist Cathedral, Edum Kumasi, where conference is going on. So that was the representative session. This afternoon, we are considering the General Directorate for Social Services. They presented their report yesterday, and questions and answers back and forth, and the interventions really that are being recommended to conference for approval. That is what we are looking at this afternoon. Social services, that arm of the church that seeks to do social evangelism. The show is sponsored by Christian Service University. Christian Service University is an evangelical liberal arts institution established 50 years ago to train men and women with ethical values for transformational leadership in Africa. Admissions for the 2024-2025 academic year is in progress for undergraduate and postgraduate programs. CSU offers dynamic academic and industry-driven programs in nursing, midwifery, business administration, communication, planning, and computer science. For more information, please contact our admission relations officers on 02462 75375, 024 0154825, 0244 96603, or visit our website www.csuc.edu.gh. Choose CSU today to secure the future of Africa. CSU, the University of Choice. So I bring you to our makeshift studio to introduce to you our guests from the Social Services Directorate. So we are privileged to have on the stage this afternoon the General Director for Social Services of the Methodist Church Ghana, Dr. Ken Dazi Sego. Papa, you are welcome to the show. Also with Doc is very Reverend Comfort Kwate Papafield. She is responsible, she is director for gender, family and social interventions. That is what Mama is responsible for. So Dr. Sego is the general director for social services, and Mama for the directorate that handles gender, family and social interventions. Mama, you are also welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good, good. So on the stage today, by my intro, we are going to look at social services. We want the people called Methodists who are out there to know what we do our social action, our social evangelism. So to start with you, Doc, for your preliminary comments, tell us what the Social Services Directorate is about and what you do.
Thank you very much, and a very good afternoon to all your listeners and viewers. The Social Services General Directorate has three key directorates under it. We have the Health Directorate, we have the Gender, Family and Social Intervention Directorate, then the Agric, Environment and Rural Development Directorate. And those are the key that push social services agenda. With health, we are looking at health promotion as one leg, at the area of community health action, like providing facilities for health purposes within the communities and the dioceses that we work in. Then we have the health service delivery aspect of health, and then we have our health training institutions and other related health issues. That is for. Then under gender, family and social interventions, we also look at issues related to gender development within the Methodist Church, and also family cohesion and family development. Then last but not the least, other social interventions also to enhance the individual and the family and the community as a whole. Under Agric and Environment, we look at the Agric initiatives that we have undertaken. We look at projects that we have also carried out, and some of the Agric institutions and I would say projects that we have across the connections. We also have other initiatives from Agric that we are undertaking to improve the environment and also the livelihood of people within the communities. So those are the key things. So we are looking at physical and health development of people in the Methodist Church and beyond. We are looking at providing support for those who are in our Agric industry with technical advice so that they can do better at what they are doing. Maybe taking care of the environment better, taking care of creation, being better stewards of. So those are some of the things that we provide.
You can see it's a very broad service area that your directorate provides. So for Penny with Papa, let me move to you because Doc touched on gender. So when we say gender, do you concern yourself with only women and children? Does it tell us about gender that we need to know as it is? Because some of us, when we hear gender, we think it's only we are dealing with the women and
Thank you very much, and I also want to add my voice to Dr. Sebos to say a very big good afternoon to your cherished viewers. Yes, when we talk about gender, gender is not only about women. Gender, so far as the term is concerned, has to do with both men and women. And in fact, in the church and under our directorate, we are looking at men, women, boys and girls in totality. That is what gender has to deal with. And when we talk about gender, we are looking at, if you like, gender mainstreaming, making sure that in the church we don't do things that will only inure to the benefit of women. Hitherto, the church, this directorate was referred to as the women's desk. Then from there, we came to women's division. During all this time, we're looking at only issues affecting women. But now we are looking at both men and women, both sexes. And so whatever we want to do when it comes to policies and budgeting for programs and so on, we want to be sure that we are looking at those programs that would benefit both men and women, and of course boys and girls too.
So today with that misconception, it's clear that the gender, should I say, wing is not only for women, but it caters for men too. General Director, sir, let me come to you. Mama mentioned policy, so let's talk policies here. In your report, you mentioned a policy on entrepreneurship. What is it? What is this intervention that your directorate is pushing?
Okay. You know, the strategic plan of the Methodist Church looks at several issues, and one of it is on social services. And it has a clear focus on improving the welfare of our members.
Doc, let me bring my viewers up to speed. So, viewers, if you can hear a lot of noise in the background, conference has just taken a recess. So, delegates and observers are going to have their lunch. They are going to take their lunch break. So, there's a lot of chit-chat around socialization around as they go to take their lunch. So if you hear this noise, it is just delegates at conference who are chit-chatting on their way to have their lunch. Doc, so sorry you are not having your lunch, but I promise you go and have your lunch right after that. So you are telling us about the policy on entrepreneurship.
Yes. So yesterday we presented the broad framework of the policy of the Methodist Church Ghana on entrepreneurship and an entrepreneurship fund that will support it. And we are expecting that we will promote entrepreneurship within the church for our youth, the unemployed, for the ones that are employed but underemployed, not getting much out of their work. And then also adults and women who are also unemployed to take active part in this. So it is something that is coming to build capacity for people to start thinking in the way of setting up businesses on their own and not waiting for the blue collar or the white collar jobs.
Are we going to pay? Is it by society are you coming to task me to do the entrepreneurship program?
Okay. Right. So what we intend to do is to make sure we have the policy framework which will guide all the levels in setting up a program with a committee that will look at it with some people with some expertise who will also guide and direct it. At that level, they will build capacity for those who are intending to join about how to set up a business, how to identify problems within the community, and how to address those communities. And then some financial literacy, I would say, would also be taught them. They will get to know about how to keep their accounts and the rest, and also how to package their things for service. And then what to do so that we can stand out as missional or mission-minded entrepreneurs, so that they will not be just like any other business people, but Christian business people, people who people can say that no, even though he's selling water, his method and his style of doing it is different from the rest. Very ethical, looking at things so that we are not destroying the environment, we are not creating any challenges for the
What is the scheme taking off?
So it has been launched
At this conference?
formally at this conference by the presiding bishop, and a committee, an oversight committee of about 13, 14 people have been inaugurated, and they are being charged to go ahead and do it. We are also charging all dioceses to set up same, the circuits also to set up same, and even societies that are capable of doing that.
Set up entrepreneurship
schemes across
the levels.
Yes, across the levels, and then make sure we are able to teach them, give them that mindset, and start up. But it needs to be supported with funding. So a Methodist Entrepreneurship Fund was also launched, and that even at the congregational level, at the headquarters, it has been set up with some funding. An account has been opened. Yesterday, we received funding into the program from the Lay Movement Council and also from the lay president and the wife. They presented 50,000. The Lay Movement Council
as
seed capital.
Okay.
And the lay movement council gave 200,000
because that was reported on.
Yes.
So it's good start.
Yes.
Good start. Madam, before I come to you, because you also reported on certain gender issues that the people called Methodists are interested in. But I want to touch on the last policy that Doc addressed. And is apart from the entrepreneurship, you also mentioned the one about mental, psychological, and spiritual. To the extent that you even recommended that ministerial candidates take psychological assessment test before what this policy, and we are not well or
it is just a reflection of the general population that mental health issues are not limited to only the people who are walking the streets naked or in disheveled states, but it is something which bothers all of us, and we need to take action. And the church is a place where we can start taking action before things get worse. So the church can get into counseling when issues start, detect some changes in people, and offer help for them to go for professional care when things are not out of hand. So that is the role that we want to play. Counsel people, identify problems with them, and direct them to where things. And it's in line with the mental health policy of Ghana, which is encouraging traditional and faith-based organizations also to help tackle the issue. And we have taken a lead in documenting our policy, outlining the operational plans, and we want to start with the thorough education, and then we'll roll it out.
So there's going to be a time when Osofo is stressed out, is depressed, he has to go for psychological assessment.
Yes, certainly. That is not only for Asofo, but for both members, and because look, the Asofo actually are under a lot of strain and stress. So that is why we propose that even before they enter training, they can be assessed to see their state.
Mental alertness.
Yes, and so that if there is any thing, they can be supported, because that is very important. In some of the advanced economies or countries, it is easier for people to present themselves that I'm being stressed and I need help. But here, sometimes we play the man that, hey, me Burma, but sometimes it overwhelms you, and that's where we need to. And if you don't take care, it can get into depression, anxiety, all those other aspects.
And we are indeed experiencing some, because there's a lot of demand socially from our leaders. So there is the need, and I think this policy is in the right direction. So if you are just joining us on the state this afternoon here at the Wesley Methodist Cathedral, Edum, where the conference of the Methodist Church Ghana is holding, we are with the Directorate for Social Services. And we are here and have as our guest the General Director, Dr. Ken Sego, and then the Director for Gender, Family and Social Intervention, very Reverend Dr. Mamane Doctor, very Reverend, very Ruth Kwate Papafio, also helping us on that discussion. So for Mami, let me come to you on gender. You reported one interesting thing that struck me was I think you reported on Takwa Diocese that they were the only diocese that reported 2 cases on sexual harassment and abuse. Is it widespread? What is the situation of that in your under your directorate?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm happy you brought in the word only, and that is exactly how the report was presented. Only Takwa Diocese, and I want to emphasize that only Takwa Diocese, because I have been in office for about 3 years. This is about the 3rd time I'm reporting in my capacity as a director. And I must say that for the past 2 years, and even before I assumed office, no diocese was reporting on gender-based violence, or if you like, abuse, domestic abuse in its various forms. So fortunately, we introduced in our agenda for reporting, the questionnaire for reporting, that every diocese should report on gender-based violence. But for the past couple of years, no report whatsoever was presented. This, for me, didn't mean that nothing was happening in the dioceses. When we sat down and thought through it, we felt that maybe the problem was that people didn't, see what was actually happening in the various societies and circuits and so on. It wasn't that nothing was happening, because it takes some kind of education for people to be able to identify some of these things. Some of them are happening, but subtly. So, you have to be helped to be able to identify them. Again, some may identify them, but how do they go about reporting? Exactly so. So we realized we had to do something about it. So all that we wanted was that dioceses should report. If you hear about it, just report, so that at least from our end we can seek help for the victim or the diocese and help them go about solving the problem. Unfortunately, this year, Takwa Diocese reported, and thankfully, in their report, they indicated that they were able to liaise with DOFSU, that is a domestic violence victim support unit, to deal with the issues. And that gave us a lot of excitement, because at least it suggested to us that now the awareness is being created, and then our people are sitting up. And all this is partly as a result of what the directorate took the diocesan coordinators and some of the our cross-section of the circuit coordinators through this year, when we met to plan our program for the year.
So when you have this incident, who do you talk to in your society, in your circuit? You have a coordinator responsible for such incidents, or you go straight to your sofa or your society steward, because you realize that the referral bit was when it was taken to DOFSU, but the immediate channel, where do we go to?
Yeah, thank you. We have society coordinators, circuit coordinators, diocesan coordinators.
How do we call them? Gender?
Yes, they are coordinators for the Office of Gender, Family and Social Intervention. So we are trying to educate our members to learn that when something like this happens, well, it could go, it depends on who is reporting it. So sometimes the person may go to the coordinator, and we have to remember that the coordinator is not doing the work on his or her own. You are working, if you like, I would always say you are working on behalf of the minister, so he or she is not expected to deal with it alone. So if the report goes first to the coordinator, we expect the coordinator to work hand in hand with the minister at the society level before it even goes out to DOFSU or wherever it is. So it's supposed to be a team-based, approach. Yeah, not an individual person's.
Great. Let me touch on this other issue that you reported on that caught our attention. The ghetto boy, Edward, that you helped in. So you do ghetto evangelism too. How did you get him, and what is his state now, as you reported to conference?
Thank you. Yes, these issues were reported from the dioceses. And I remember it's a secondary diocese. I come from the secondary diocese, and I have worked in the diocese too. And I remember in one of the societies I worked in there, in the circuit, there were two societies which were dealing with these, if you like, ghetto. They say we shouldn't call them ghetto, but you'll be surprised to learn that they themselves are happy to be called ghetto. To be called ghetto.
Ghetto boys.
Ghetto boys. So, yeah. So we were doing ministry to them. And that is Poase, the Ankrah Society now, 𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘 and Apon, they reported on these people. And you go, some of these boys, I'm sorry to say, are into weed smoking, drug abuse, if you like, and all kinds of lifestyles. But we received this report from Takoradi and the 𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘 and the Apon circuit. And then there is an organization, an NGO in Takoradi, which bears the name Heyla Ghetto Foundation.
Heyla Ghetto.
Heyla. H-E-Y-L-A. And the founder decided to give it that kind of name, Heyla. And it's one of those slangs we use in secondary Takoradi, Heyla, that kind of thing. Heyla Ghetto Foundation. And so, Power Circuit, for example, worked hand in hand with this foundation to reach the ghetto.
I think the name is Edward. And you've reported that he now comes to church. He's been worked on.
Yes. And then in Takoradi too, a similar thing happened there. And the gentleman, I think, was very troublesome at home. So when the parents heard that, by God's grace, he had given his life to Christ, they came all the way to the church, to express their gratitude. Hey, anybody? There was that kind of stuff.
We thank God. That is a very great testimony. And I want to believe that with this report, more of these will be directed to you. And we thank God that is using your directorate to identify and then help solve the problems or challenges with these people.
Yes, and I want to add that, in fact, sometimes I want to boast that, you see, this social services thing that the church is involved in is something that is very, very, very important. And yet, we seem to handle it anyhow. You know? After all, Jesus gave us the example.
Yeah.
In his ministry, he reached out to those who had been relegated to the margins.
The vulnerable and marginalized.
The marginalized as a result of so many reasons. And Jesus has given us example. And we need to always remember that all these persons we've been reaching out to are people who have been created in the image and likeness of God. And they are persons of worth and dignity. So I'm proud to say that our general directorate is, if evangelism is the engine of the church, our general directorate is the wheels and the if you like, the main, how do you call it, the body of the vehicle. So without us, the wheels and the body, the engine cannot move. Let me share this quickly with you. Just recently, we completed SOSET for our ministers. And I was teaching on ministry in the margins, to the vulnerable, the marginalized. And one Osofo shared his experience to the class that they held an open air crusade and they had souls coming forward to receive Christ. Then they were invited to church. Now, one young man said he didn't have
clothes to wear
for church. And Osofo said he told him, and what the young man told Osofo was that, boutique.
For him to bring the clothing.
Boutique. And then, because I was talking about me going out, reaching out to their fiscal needs, health needs, and so on, so that holistically,
just like John Wesley said, that faith and works are inseparable.
Yes. And so I told them, yes, Yakopon, your boutique. And the boutique here, God runs a boutique, and we are the salespersons. We are the ones to give out the clothes and the rest. So that is that.
Exactly. So social action must come to.
Yes.
The General Director, sir, you mentioned, we've talked, so gender is just one of the directorates under you. Let's go to health and then agric. Okay. We'll come to that. On health, you reported of Ankrah hospital recording 360,000 outpatients. Then the margin that was given 8% improvement over the previous year. What is the church doing? What is accounting to we having people come to our facilities to seek medical care?
Okay, so we have 26 facilities across the connection, across the country, and all of them together saw outpatients amounting to the number of about 360,000 in the year under review. So that is and then the year before there was an improvement in the numbers. So many more people attended our facilities than the year before. And it was an 8% growth in the numbers, which shows that people have confidence in our facilities. Again, the 360 represents 6 people out of any 1,000 who visited any hospital at all in this country. So that also shows that our hospitals are playing a major role in providing health in this country. Apart from the outpatients, if you look at inpatients, we had about 21,000 inpatients. And that also amounts to, if you put all the calculation for the whole country inpatients together, we accounted for 10 out of every 1,000 that is 1 in 100, that was admitted ever in the country in the year under review, was seen in a Methodist facility, health facility.
Yes, and you are doing well. You also reported on physical exercises, health screening.
Yes.
What caught my attention was the hernia operations that Dr. Ankrah Mills led.
Sure.
And you did there for about 331 people.
313
people. Is that also social evangelism?
It is also
hernia?
part of the social evangelism. There is a partner we have from Germany who we partnered to provide that service in several centers. So we informed the community we were coming, we registered the people, and during that period we went around and worked with surgeons in those facilities as well to get. So within that short period we were able to do 313 of these cases across the country. And these are usually things that prevent people from doing active work. People in their active working age, they develop the hernias.
Was only for men.
Not only men. Hernia, many men have hernia, but women also have hernia.
I see.
Especially elderly women. They develop what we call the direct hernias. They are more common in the female.
I see.
But people who do manual work and lift heavy loads and carry heavy loads are prone to having the general hernia.
So this surgeries, we can say, has helped.
It has helped, and it was for free. And these were the modern technique of hernia repair that was used. So it is something that will benefit the people and get them to work in no time.
Great. Last on health, then I will look at that. Great.
Yes.
You also reported on students in missions getting the GAMSU. What is this proposal you are recommending you are making to conference?
Yes, this is a program that we are doing with GAMSU, and we are looking at Methodist health students, and mainly from the universities and other tertiary health training institutions. That these are, we have selected a cohort of them and trained them, and the training started last December. It was for a week, and they were giving talks in missionary work, how to engage and spread the gospel using your professional skills, and how to also conduct yourself in the workplace so as to stand out and to be counted as a Christian. That will attract people into Christian life. We are intending to institutionalize this, and so at this conference, in the presentation, we presented it as a policy and as a recommendation, and it has been adopted at this
Great.
And we are appealing to the dioceses to sponsor some of their students to attend when the program comes up.
So you are still on the States, and this afternoon we are looking at the General Directorate for Social Services, and we have the Director, Dr. Ken-Sego, and also very Reverend Ruth Kwoti-Papafio, who heads the Gender, Family and Social Interventions Directorate. And we have been looking at some key interventions that the Directorate have been undertaking as part of social evangelism for the church. And as they've reported to conference, we've had harassment cases. They are proposing mental, spiritual and physical assessment or psychological assessment for leaders who get depressed and all that. So the Directorate is actually leading leading us on interventions that make sure that our holistic bin is catered for. So GRA, Ghana Revenue Authority, wants us to know that the domestic tax revenue division is encouraging us to be filing our returns. So filing of value added tax, VAT, get fund, national health insurance levy, and communication service tax returns for July 2024. The Ghana Revenue Authority reminds all persons registered for VAT and get fund levy that the VAT, NHIA get fund levy, and communication service tax returns for July 2024 should be submitted to the VAT, NHIL get fund levy and CST returns forms not later than Friday, today, 30th August 2024, which is the last working day of this month. File your VAT, NHIL get fund levy and CST returns early and avoid payment of penalties. For VAT, NHIL get fund levy, the penalty is 500 Ghana cedis and a further penalty of 10 Ghana cedis for each day the return is not submitted. For CST operators, late filing of returns attracts a pecuniary penalty of 2,000 Ghana cedis and a further penalty of 500 cedis for each day the return is not submitted. Remember to submit the July 2024 returns not later than today, 30th August, which is the last working day of this month, and avoid paying all these penalties. Kindly get in contact with us by email or info@gra.gov.gh or by WhatsApp on 055 299 0000 and 0200 631664. This is under the signature of the Commissioner General. You can alternatively go to www.gra.gov.gh. GRA, integrity, fairness, and service. So we'll take your comments, final comments, if you may. No, I wanted to touch before that, Doc. If you could touch quickly on Ankrah, care creation, and at the report you were asked about trees that were planted previously and what has become. So touch on Ankrah.
Okay, so quickly on Ankrah, we reported on most of the Ankrah projects that we have across the connection, and we are getting to know the inventory of the type of things we do across, and it makes interesting reading. We are believing that in the next year the record of inventory will be much more helpful and cover most of the. But the other thing is that we have declared and accepted June as the Creation Care Month for the Methodist Church. So the issues of tree planting, care for the environment, care for nature, and all those will be celebrated during that period. So our tree planting will be done during that period. It will also incorporate what was done under Arbor Day.
Okay.
So, and then we are also encouraging the formation of creation care clubs
In our schools.
in the schools, in our primary and secondary schools, so that they would also have that mindset from the beginning to care for nature, to plant trees, to take care of trees. We, in the past 3 or so years,
We'll be going quickly we'll touch on it. Yes, the last one.
We've been looking at working with government in the Green Ghana initiative, and we've been part. And assessment from independent body, the Forestry Commission and the BNI, indicate that the Methodist Church, amongst the faith-based organizations, have performed very well in the past 2 years or so. We are waiting for what happened last year, the reports, and I believe we would also do well.
Great. Yes, so for your final statement, I wish you could touch on the women's banking and widows project. Your last statement. Briefly.
You. Yeah. As I said earlier on, we are looking at helping the vulnerable, and so my directorate is now working on a project in Asene in the Fosu diocese, and this project is termed the Vulnerable Widows Project, and they are into the production of edible palm oil. And by God's grace, the project is ongoing, and we are hoping to expand it going forward, so that the widows would get something out of this project to take care of themselves. There is no point in always giving them clothing and all that. It's good to do that, but at least let us help them to be self-sustaining, so that they can take care of themselves and their children.
Thank you.
And that is why we are working in partnership with Pan-African Savings and Loans, a subsidiary of EcoBank, so that they will help us help the women upgrade themselves.
Thank you very much. We are most grateful to you for coming on the show, Dr. Sego and Very Reverend 𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘 Papafio of the Directorate for Social Services of the General Directorate for Social Services of the Methodist Church. So this has been the state. We have looked at the social interventions that the church has been involved in making sure that we take care of you holistically. And we have come to you from the Wesley Methodist Cathedral here, where conference is taking place. The conversation will continue. Other directorates are making their presentation. Tomorrow is the election for our new presiding bishop. Keep praying for the church, the Methodist Church Ghana. We are back on Monday with the state. My name is Gabriel 𝗟𝗩𝗪𝗘 Ankrah. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.